Welcome to Table for One. I'm the narrator, and today I'm doing a 5-minute refresh on Splendor. Now, on a 5-minute refresh video, the assumption is you've played this game before. Presumably you like it because you're coming back to it, but maybe it's been a little while and you just need a quick refresher, and you don't want to spend the time to learn the whole game from start to finish. Now, luckily, Splendor is a simple enough game that it won't take much longer than 5 minutes to teach the whole game, so that's what we're going to do. Now you also might be wondering, this is Table for One after all. What are we doing taking a look at Splendor, which is a game for 2 to 4 players? And the answer is there's a really cool solo variant that I found. And so I've got a Table for One house rules video that you can check out to see how to play that. But in order to understand how to play the modified version of Splendor for solo play, it's important to know how to play the base game. So you can go ahead and skip right over to that if you know how to play Splendor already. Otherwise, this will be a quick refresh on how Splendor works. And then after both of those videos, I've got a solo playthrough of Splendor with the house rules. So you can check that out as well. So if you're as ready as I am, let's roll. Alright, we're all set up now to do a quick refresh on how to play Splendor. So there are 3 decks of cards. One is green, one is yellow, one is blue. They have 1, 2, and 3 circles at the bottom. The first thing you want to do is shuffle each of those decks individually and then deal out 4 cards face up beside each deck. That's regardless of the number of players. That's always the first thing you need to do. Then you shuffle up these noble tiles over here, and you're going to deal out 1 per player plus 1. So this right now is set up for a 2-player game. 1, 2 for each player plus 1. And then the last thing you do is you're going to set up your tokens over here. You've got your 5 gemstones and gold. Gold is not a gemstone, it's different. You're going to use all the gold tokens in the box. There's 5 of them for every game. But the number of gemstones is variable. So it's going to be 4 for a 2-player game of each. 5 of each for a 3-player game, and 7 of each, which is all of the ones in the box, for a 4-player game. The 5 gemstones here are rubies, emeralds, sapphires, diamonds, and onyx. I've had people, as a quick aside, refer to these as chocolate bars or Hershey bars, which drives me crazy because that's not a gemstone. It's onyx. And maybe if we just take a closer look real quick here. Just a couple helpful ways to help your group tell the difference. I usually look, a Hershey bar has these silver foils on the sides, which you can see are not in the token here. I also noticed that the Hershey bar says Hershey real big across the top of it, which I think we would see if this was a Hershey bar. It's not there. The other helpful thing is the size. That's how I tell the difference. You can probably fit 4 of these onyx tokens side by side in the size of that Hershey bar. So those are some ways for your group to tell the difference between a Hershey bar and an onyx token, just in case your group's like mine. Let's go over the cards real quick, and I'll just grab this one here as an example. There's a few things you might notice on the cards. In the bottom left corner, this is the cost to purchase the card. So this one costs 3 diamonds, 2 emeralds, and 3 rubies to purchase. In the top right corner, there's going to be a gemstone. And in the top left, there may be a point value. So this one is 1 point. These are prestige points in this game. So with our 3 decks of cards, as you go up from 1 to 2 to 3, generally the cost is increasing, as is the point value. Other than that, they all work the same. So let's talk real quick about what you do on your turn. You have 4 actions available to you. So on each turn, you'll pick one of these 4 actions, and then it passes to the person to the left, and you keep going around and around. So on your turn, the first thing you can do is you can take 3 gemstones. Now, when you take 3 gemstones, they all have to be different colors. Doesn't matter what they are, but they all have to be different. If, for whatever reason, the game is in a state where there are only, say, 2 colors left available, the others are all picked up by other players, you can take one of each, but you cannot take a third because it would match one of the colors you've already taken. You're just kind of out of luck at that point. So that's the first action available. If you take 3 gemstones, they all have to be different colors, and then that is your turn. It goes on to the next person. The second action available is you can take 2 gemstones of the same color. The caveat to that is, in order to do that, the stack must have 4 gemstones at a minimum before you take any. So the way it is now, if this were to be my turn, the next player, they could take 2 sapphires or rubies, onyx, or diamonds, but they cannot take these 2 emeralds because there needs to be at least 4 in the stack. That requirement does not change based off number of players. It's always 4. The third thing you can do is outright purchase a card. To purchase a card, you have to have these chips already in your hand. So if I wanted to purchase this one for 2 diamonds and 1 sapphire, I would take these that I have, put them back in the bank, and now the card is mine. Whenever a card is taken from the middle, you flip the next card from that deck to replace it. If any of the decks run out, you just keep playing without that deck. That deck is empty, but you can keep playing with what's remaining. Now, what's important about the cards is there's always a gemstone in the top right corner. That always counts from now on as being in your collection. So right now I have one emerald. So if I wanted to, say, purchase this card here that needs 5 sapphire and 3 emerald, I can subtract 1 from that price. I only need to have, as far as tokens goes, 5 sapphire and 2 emerald. And this card never goes away. It stays in my collection for the rest of the game, and it's additive. So the more cards I get, the more cards I can then afford. Set this off to the side. The fourth action you can take, and again, quick recap, you can take 3 different tokens, 2 of the same token, as long as there's at least 4. You can purchase a card using the tokens you already have. The fourth thing you can do is you can reserve a card. So say I want this one, but I can't afford it yet, and I don't want the other players to have it. I can take it and set it aside. This is not in my collection. I don't have the points. This emerald here does not count as being in my collection, but it is now only available for me to purchase on a future turn. Nobody else can have it, and in that case I still replace it on the game board, and I also, when I reserve, I take 1 gold token and put that in my collection. Gold acts as a wild, so you can use it to purchase other cards, and it can be in place of any of these gemstones. There are no cards in the deck that require gold specifically to purchase it. It is only used as a wild. There are also no cards in the deck that will give you gold in the top right corner, only the gemstones. You may only have up to 3 cards in your reserve at any time. 3 is the max. If you want to reserve a card and there's no gold left in the stack, you may still reserve it, provided you don't have 3 cards already in your reserve. You just won't get the gold in that case, but the action is still available. Now, when you take the token, whether it's gold or any of the gemstones, you may only have 10 tokens in your possession at the end of your turn. So if you have 9 tokens and you decide to take 3 more, you can do that, but then you must then put tokens back in the bank until you get back down to 10. So if, for example, this is, for whatever reason, what my hand looked like, so this is, we'll say I have 9. This is what I have. I can then take 3 as my action for this turn, but now I need to put something back, and it could include what I just took, or it could include something I already had, as long as I get back down to 10 by the end of my turn. And then you're going to keep going around this way, and the game is a race to 15 points, these prestige points in the corner. So whatever's in your hand, first one to 15 is the winner. And when somebody does hit 15 So let me rephrase that. When somebody does hit 15, you then finish the round, and so everybody's had the same amount of turns. And at that point, whoever has the highest score is the winner. If there's a tie between the people with the highest score, it's whoever has the fewest purchased cards. And if there is still a tie, I think it's whoever has the most Hershey's chocolate bars in their possession is the tiebreaker in that case. The last piece that I haven't talked about is the nobles over here on the left. The nobles, at the end of any of your turns, if you have the requirements, it's in the bottom left. There's a cost, sort of like purchasing a card. The nobles don't care about your tokens. They ignore all the tokens. They only look at the cards in your hand. If you meet these minimum thresholds, you automatically take this noble into your hand. It does not count as an action, and you actually cannot refuse it. You have to take it, and it gives you 3 points. They're all worth 3 points, so it's an additional 3 towards your goal of 15. The only other thing you need to know about the nobles is if you somehow manage to threshold multiple at the same time, you can only take up to 1 per turn. So you can choose at that point which one you want to take. And if it's still available at the end of the next turn, it would automatically come to you. So that's everything you need to know about how to play Splendor. Again, I've got a Table for One house rules video on how to solo this game, which is pretty fun. So I recommend it. And then I've got a solo playthrough video as well that you can check out. So that was your 5-minute refresh on Splendor, and hope to see you in the next video. Thank you.